This is like turned into an everyday thing now because I just like chatting with you all. There's like 3,000 to 5,000 diehards that come in super early, like 10 to 10:15. And someone asked me a question this morning about how do you feel about an all animal based diet? And so I went and did a video on my Locals account. It's over 6 minutes long. So if any of you want my full diet, like everything I eat, and the secret, because there's a lot of secrets in there, go check it out on Locals. I would do it here. I'm trying to hide it from you. It's just I don't want to waste 6 minutes talking about what I eat. This is we always do politics. We're trying to save the country here. But I get in that chat early. I try to answer as many questions as I can, or at least read as much stuff as I can. You all are awesome. Listen, I got a big show for you today. The kid-sniffing bribe taker is back again, making up a number of bullshit stories. This time, how he tried to talk Strom Thurmond into signing the Civil Rights Act, which is really incredible because Biden was 21 when that happened and was 10 years away from even being in the U.S. Senate. Keep in mind, Strom Thurmond voted against the Civil Rights Act. So nobody knows what the kid-sniffing bribe taker's talking about. Of course, the guy's just full of it all the time. I'm going to give you his history of course, lying about being a civil rights activist, too, because that's always worth repeating. I got that and an update on them doubling down on trying to steal the election. Don't go anywhere. Today's show brought to you by ExpressVPN. By the way, shout out to Big Joe, running the show exclusively by himself. He's the executive producer on the audio side, but he's like, I'm going to learn everything. So the chat is Guy's only insurance for a job. If this goes well, we may fire him. I kid. The chat loves Guy, so we'll keep him around because we love him for a few extra days. I kid. He's very talented. It's good to have Guy back. Justin's back at school. Today's show brought to you by ExpressVPN. Hey, when you go to the bathroom, you close the door behind you, right? Because you don't want random people walking by looking in on you. So why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like going to the bathroom and not closing the door. Do you know your internet service provider knows every single website you visit? And what's worse is they can sell this information to ad companies and tech giants who will use your data to target you. ExpressVPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I use ExpressVPN on all my devices. And using ExpressVPN is as easy as closing the bathroom door. Just fire up the app, click one button, and you are protected. ExpressVPN is the world's #1 rated VPN by Mashable, The Verge, and countless others. I don't go online without it, folks. I don't want people seeing what I do online. It's none of their business. I'm sorry. That's just it. I don't trust the government or anyone else. So if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself by going to expressvpn.com/Bongino today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Use my exclusive link, expressvpn.com/Bongino. You get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/Bongino. All right, Producer Joe, let's go.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, yeah, Joe's like, Joe's doing multiple jobs today. So Guy finished like 13th in his Dungeons and Dragons tournament, and it was great. He said he did really well, so congratulations. Good to see him back. What is it again? Flesh and Blood or something? I got that right? Yeah, look at you. Guy's like one of the top-ranked guys in the world in that. So that's great. He's very talented, which is good for Guy. Okay, so getting back to the show. So here is the kid-sniffing bullshit artist and the bribe taker, Biden again yesterday, showing you the man doesn't have a shred of human dignity, telling a lie so easily debunked that his staff within seconds knew they had to clean up another Biden mess. Here he is saying that he somehow talked Senator Strom Thurmond into supporting the Civil Rights Act. And I want to make special note here. You guys saw the clip, right? He makes a point to emphasize that he means this literally, not figuratively. I mean, he literally says that, right? Which is strange because Joe Biden was 21 in 63 when this all went down. And Joe Biden was not in the Senate, would not be in the Senate for 10 more years. And Strom Thurmond did not vote for the Civil Rights Act. So you have to understand, absolutely none of this story is true. But it never stops the kid sniffer from making it up anyway. Check this out.
I thought things had changed. I was able to literally, not figuratively, talk Strom Thurmond into voting for the Civil Rights Act before he died. And I thought, well, maybe there's real progress. But hate never dies. It just hides. It hides under the rocks.
Yeah, well, bullshit never dies either. It hides under the rocks, too, I guess. The rocks in the Biden White House. Folks, this guy can never tell the truth about anything. And his constant His constant, what do they call that? What is LARPing? Live action role? That's a thing, right? LARP. His LARPing as a civil rights activist is that not cool? Like, I don't know. Do I not know the word? Because I'm not like a hip culture guy. Am I using that in the wrong context? I didn't even know what IRL meant. I had to ask Guy when I went on Timcast. Like, what's IRL? LARPing's a real thing, right? Yeah, AMSR. I thought it was a disease. ASMR. It's like some sound thing that people respond to. I'm like, is that a prod? Is that an itchy thing? Yeah, LARPing is real. Joe Biden is LARPing. He has spent a lifetime LARPing as a civil rights activist. You need to understand, folks, Democrats, Republicans, and the like, we are running against this guy in the next presidential election. If you're going to make a case out of Trump's character, Trump's a bad guy, he sends out mean tweets, then we're going to return the volley back to you and show you how full of crap you are. Your guy is a BS artist. That's all he is. Nothing this guy says is true about any of his autobiography at all. He does this to appeal to people as if he's some big human rights, civil rights activist who was sitting there marching on the front lines. He is lying to you. These are easily documented lies. The guy is a kid-sniffing, bribe-taking fraud. He is nothing more than that. That's what this piece of garbage is. He doesn't have a shred of human dignity. Ask any Secret Service agent or staff who spent a minute around this guy. He is a loser. Put some beers in them and they will tell you. The guy is a loser and a liar. He is that guy at a party you're at who drank too much and is telling you stories about how he threw for 7,000 yards in a football game in high school, and everybody's looking at it going, well, guy, we know you're BSing us. That's Joe Biden. You have to understand what a loser this guy is. He's a loser. He's got family member losers. They all are losers. That's who these people are. Hat tip RNC research. This is important you see this. Because again, this guy has made a career out of lying to people. You want to see why some, not huge numbers, but some black voters are leaving the Biden camp and moving over to the Trump camp? Maybe because this guy just lies about everything, including LARPing as a civil rights activist. Take a look at this.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes. And we changed attitudes.
He lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement.
I got involved in the civil rights movement.
I got involved in desegregated movie theaters. They organized voter registration drives. From the time I got involved as a high school kid in the civil rights movement.
But I was a kid involved in the civil rights movement, desegregating restaurants and movie theaters in my state.
From the time I got involved as a kid in the civil rights movement. Sit-ins and desegregating restaurants.
And I got involved in the civil rights movement just as a kid. And that's why I got so deeply involved in my community with the civil rights movement. When I sat in black churches in the east side of Wilmington getting ready to, and by the way, next to two Jewish rabbis, getting ready to go out and desegregate movie theaters in Delaware. I come out of the civil rights movement. I start off in black churches and we'd go from there to desegregate movie theaters. For real, I got involved in the civil rights movement.
From the time I've been 18 years old, I've been involved in causes from the civil rights movement.
Got involved in the civil rights movement and desegregating restaurants, that kind of thing. Coming out of the civil rights movement and being involved in the Jewish community as a kid in the civil rights movement.
I got involved in the civil rights movement and getting ready to go out and desegregate restaurants and movie theaters.
That's what got me involved in civil rights as a kid. I got very engaged, in my case, in the civil rights movement.
Quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood and kept telling the story anyway. That is really, really weird.
Folks, it's beyond weird. It's sociopathic. Listen, there are a couple of things. Can we agree if I'm wrong? If you think I'm wrong, just tell me in the chat you're wrong. Just I'll accept. I'll listen to you. Just I want to hear what you have to say. Listen, every politician lies. And listen to the, I just said, but listen twice. Every politician lies about their background. Let's just say embellishes. They just do. They, they say this. I grew up poor. You probably grew up middle class or whatever. You just accept it as like BS is built into the system. Okay. But there are things you just don't lie about. You don't lie about your military history. You just don't. Correct? That's just absolutely forbidden. You don't steal valor. You don't lie about having been in law enforcement when you aren't. I'm sorry, but you don't lie about being like a frontline police officer, if you weren't one. You also don't lie about your history in the civil rights movement. For people in the chat or anyone else out there listening who forgets, the civil rights movement was led by the Republican Party against Southern Democrats. It doesn't mean Democrats now are responsible for what their fathers did. That's not what this means. You are responsible for your own life. The generational guilt is not a thing. But that is a historical fact. And our party, we should be proud of that. The fact that Joe Biden is a Democrat who's got a history of making overtly racist remarks is trying to steal some kind of moral valor by pretending he was a civil rights activist, which was led by our party, by the way, when, a matter of fact, he did no such thing, is absolutely should be forbidden. And this guy should be roundly condemned. But outside of what Tapper said in that video, you hear almost nobody on the left talking about this at all. Matter of fact, ironically, Trump, who's done a lot for minorities, not just Black America, but others throughout his life, through various programs, and he is always through activism and others, and while he was in the White House, tried to assist people in the Black community. They attack him as a racist. The real racist is the rotting bag of oatmeal in the White House now. I didn't intend to start the show that way, but I saw that this morning again on RNC Research, and honestly, I just got pissed off because I'm so sick of this piece of human garbage in the White House. I'm also sick of him because, as you know, one of the things that fires me up the most is COVID tyranny. Folks, they have used COVID as a vehicle, this great reset crowd, over and over and over again to get you to believe that civil rights are granted to you by government, not by God. And folks, it's happening again. And if we don't cut this off at the knees right now, listen to me, beam right in. We are going to suffer again. I am begging you, do not cede 1 single millimeter. Forget about an inch. Not a millimeter backwards in this fight for civil liberties. These mandates are coming again. If you vote for Democrats in this next election, I don't care what they tell you. It's scare tactic. It's a conspiracy theory. It is not. These things are coming again. Masks, vaccine mandates, they're already seeding like chia pets their little battlefield right now. Here's Biden the other day. Apparently they got a new vaccine coming out. I don't trust anything they say on vaccines. You can hard pass on all this stuff. Here's Biden again. They're going to recommend the new vaccine. Watch how quickly this morphs into a mandate. The minute what is the new, Babylon Bee has a name for this. We'll get to that a little later. Election year? Election Gittercron? Yeah, it's got a new name. And Joe and I heard it. The new, what is it called? Election Yearacron? Yes, this is the new name. The official name of the new virus is, yes, Election Yearacron. Wait till we get closer to election year. Election Yearacron, hysterical stories are going to be all around. And there's going to be mandates again everywhere. There it is, Babylon Bee. Of course, it's satire. Election Yearacron. But it's really not. The joke of the whole thing is the Babylon Bee starts as satire and usually becomes true. Here's Biden the other day. Oh, yeah, they're going to recommend the vaccine. Folks, they've learned nothing. They have learned absolutely nothing from every single thing they did during the last COVID thing because they don't consider it mistakes. Mandates, school closures, they consider these great steps towards evaporating your civil liberties. Here, listen to yourself.
President, can you say anything about the uptick of COVID cases and the new variant?
Yes, I can. Matter of fact, I signed off this morning on a proposal we have to present to the Congress a request for additional funding for a new vaccine that is necessary, that works. And tentatively, not decided finally, tentatively, it is recommended that, it will likely be recommended that everybody get it, no matter whether they got it before or not.
So I saw on social media, I think it was Twitter, somebody said, my gosh, they've learned nothing. No. I'm not, with respect, I'm not meaning to be an ass about it. They have learned something. You guys see where I'm going with this? No, they've learned a lot. They've learned that sheep out there will comply as long as you scare them enough with Election Yearacron. That's what they've learned. There's people out there who actually believe that they think any of this was wrong. Oh, school closures, depression rates went up, kids suffer in education. We have history scores at the lowest in recorded history, reading scores the lowest in 30 years, kids disconnected from their friends and miserable, parents upset their kids weren't in school. There's been an electoral revolution in Virginia over these things. Nationwide, parents fighting back. People go, oh, what, they didn't learn from that? No, they did. That's what they wanted. Am I not saying, is this making sense, Joe? Yeah. They learned everything. You're right. People are assuming that they think it was a mistake. They did this on purpose. Here is Exhibit A, that they've learned a lot. That if they can lie to you and gaslight you strongly enough, they can implement totalitarianism in the United States. And there's no bigger totalitarianism than this absolute dipshit on MSNBC, Mehdi Hasan. We're making a change today. Guy, pay attention. This is important. And I need a little thing for tomorrow or maybe later in the week. We're announcing a change in the dopey media talking head Olympics. He's like, whoa. Folks, this is huge. This is huge. We are moving Mehdi Hasan to the bronze medal category. Yes, this is, Joe, he's giving it, yes, it's impressive. Mehdi, you've done a lot of hard work. You've earned it. You've got 2 clips today on the show. This is probably the dumbest guy in media. The reason he's not the gold medal winner is most people don't even know who he is or care about him. And this guy's just like, he's actually a benefit to us because he says things so dumb, he actually helps us sometimes. So he's still stuck at bronze. This is a big move, though. It's a big move. Here's what I mean. Listen to this tool on MSNBC now suggesting that the kids being kept out of school was a good thing and all of you were just idiots. Trust me, they learned a lot from this. They learned how to be totalitarians like this dipshit. Check this out.
Today I want to address this thorny and very emotive issue of kids, schools and COVID because we have seen a blatant and bad faith rewriting of history on this issue from a lot of people who should know better. And so I think this today, what you're about to watch, is one of the most important deep dives I've ever done on this show. Because the myths about children and COVID, that kids aren't really harmed by it, that school closures were a massive and avoidable mistake, that they cause learning loss and mental health issues, those myths, and they are myths, dangerous myths, have endured for so long, become so ingrained, so pervasive, that they're not just something Fox viewers believe. I'm sure many of you watching at home have sadly come to accept many of these myths as true.
Again, the single dumbest guy on television. He would be higher. He says, though, he's right about Mehdi Hasan, him getting the bronze medal now in the dopey media talking head Olympics, folks. It's a solid comeback story. It is. I mean, the guy was a nobody. Nobody knew who he was. We see in the post-millennial, he's got a history of calling non-Muslims and atheists cattle, comparing gay people to incestuous pedophiles. What a comeback. Right now, he's the bronze medal winner. So congrats. Mehdi, if you send us an address, Guy and Joe, can you work it out? If he sends us an address, can we go get him a medal? And yeah, absolutely. So Mehdi, just, reach out. We'll take care of it. We'll ship it right to you. Just the only stipulation is if we do it, you have to wear it on the air. I'm not going to waste money, okay? I'm a capitalist. You got to wear it on the air, okay? Your big bronze medal. Same guy, by the way. You can watch the video of him saying that in case you think we're making any of this up, by the way. Folks, the COVID tyranny is coming back because Mehdi Hasan and others, they learned a lot. They've learned nothing. No, they've learned everything. They've learned how to be little mini totalitarians. Do you understand? They absolutely know, as I've said to you 1,000 times, and you all know, that the surgical mask is a 100% useless mechanism for stopping COVID. It is the sign of the imbecile, you with the mask on. Now, people did it because they complied, and I get it. People did it. I had to wear one in certain places because I was going to die otherwise with if you didn't get into the chemo thing. I told you, I'm not doing it anymore. Nobody else should do it either. Now we know conclusively the masks thing are total garbage. Yet CBS News, it claims to be a journalism empire, put this tweet out. As 3 new COVID variants are spreading across the country, oh my gosh, many people are wondering, are masks coming back? So I responded on Twitter and it went viral. No, go F yourself. Thanks. They're not coming back because we're not doing it. And you shouldn't do it either. Don't do it. Folks, you don't stop it. It is never going to stop. I got this coming up next. It's going to take a quick break. You think these masks, no. They may not help, but there's no downside to it. Oh, you mean outside kids not being able to see people speak, language development issues, breathing in your own CO2? Oh, as these 95 masks may expose wearers to dangerous levels of toxic chemicals. Whoa, that sounds like a downside to it. Stay tuned. If you missed that, I got that coming up next, too. Take a break for our next sponsor. There you go. See, still in Dungeons & Dragons mode. What is that? Oh, Blackout Coffee. Oh, nice. Well, you know why I like Blackout Coffee? Because I get to take a sniff. Yes. Still not out of sniffs from the Blackout Coffee. What's the website? It's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Well, I'm giving you the website. Why would you go there? Because this company makes great damn coffee, the best coffee I've ever had. And the owner of the company loves two things. He loves America, and he loves coffee, and he doesn't hide it, and he isn't shy about it. And I don't think you should be giving your money to left-wing lunatics that hate us. It's a really bad idea. Blackout Coffee is great, though. Here's the thing. There's a lot of pro-America companies, and that's fantastic. But you got to make a good product, too. It's unfair to the customers. All right? If you're going to give people your money, it better be a good product. That's why I'm proud to personally recommend Blackout Coffee. It's the only coffee I drink. They're 100% committed to coffee and conservative values. From sourcing the beans, to the roasting process, to customer support and shipping, they've got an incredible work ethic, and they are dedicated to promoting conservative principles. They accept absolutely no compromise on their taste or quality. It is a big, bold, vibrant coffee taste. I get nothing but positive feedback about this. My brother-in-law's a fan. Everybody in my family, I give them out as little stocking stuffers at Christmas and everything like that. People love them. Do me a favor. Check out blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Ditch those other guys. Blackout Coffee remains true to our values. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino or use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Thanks, Blackout Coffee. You know we love you. Trying to sneak an extra Blackout Coffee sniff in there. Oh, did you see this? You like the lefties? There's no downside to masks. They put the mask on. It's not going to save you or anyone else. I mean, what's the downside? Oh, I don't know. Maybe this mask study published by the National Institutes of Health suggesting that N95 COVID masks may expose wearers to dangerous levels of toxic compounds linked to seizures and cancer. I don't know. Guy, does that sound like in the flesh and blood tournament? Are people like around there wearing KN95 masks anymore? No. Some of them, oh my gosh, some of them are. It's probably why Guy finished at the top, because he defeated some of these people who actually believe that these masks actually work. Folks, they may. Now, this is a specific brand of mask, just to be clear, this N95. But this is a Daily Mail coverage. Read it, Bongino.com/newsletter if you want to read the article. Sign up today. Of course, it's free. Read this all yourself. You can see right here that these things, the reason they have that smell to them is for a reason. Only idiots wear these things. Only morons. I want you to understand. It's pretty good. You must sound like me. It's only imbeciles wear these. Listen, I get it. 2-3 years ago, there was a lot of panic, uncertainty. I don't want to harshly judge anyone. I'm in some pictures myself wearing these things early on when people were a little confused, didn't understand the value of it. I mean, I spoke out early and thought it was dumb, but I knew other people were scared. No more. We now know the science. This is the mark of the imbecile. When you see someone approach you with this, laugh, walk away and say, "Sir, I'm sorry. I have an imbecile quota. It's already been met today. I can't talk to any more imbeciles. So thank you. Come back when you take the diaper off your face. I appreciate it." That's seizures and cancer. He's like, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a downside. Seizures, cancer. I love to do that cancer thing. I've told you guys, don't I give it 2 thumbs down? Cancer, folks, definitely no good. If there's a Yelp review, I didn't like it. It was very uncomfortable. I've had both COVID and cancer, and I will definitely take the COVID over the cancer any day of the week and twice on Sunday, just so you know. I had a rough weekend with COVID, felt like crap on Friday and Saturday. By Monday, I was raring to go. I actually didn't miss the show. Now, everybody's so worried. Please, back on. It's just COVID. They're so worried. Here is the kid-sniffing bribe taker, Biden, yesterday. Everybody's so worried about COVID. He's going to shake hands with a bunch of school kids at a school. Why he wasn't sniffing them, I don't know. Maybe he saw the cameras. So I want you to watch how he coughs in his hand and then shakes everybody's hand. They're so worried about COVID, apparently not worried about the kid sniffer here. So play that cut. It's just disgusting. He's like, this is gross. It's just disgusting. The guy's always coughing, sniffing, biting. Remember him chewing on that kid overseas? You remember that? Remember him chewing on the guy's just disgusting. When he's not sniffing kids, he's chewing on them or coughing on them. When he's not around kids, he's uncomfortably grabbing women, touching them, massaging them. He's just disgusting. Folks, the guy is a walking Me Too complaint. He is just disgusting. He is a disgusting human being. And listen, to the Democrat freaky deaky dudes watching this thing, you know damn well what I'm saying is true. You know damn well the guy is a freakadoo. He is a freaking weirdo. He is a naked swimming, bribe-taking, kid-sniffing, woman-feeling weirdo who is always either coughing, sniffing, or biting kids. He is a freaking weirdo. You're telling me this is the best you've got? Oh, I hope you keep this guy in a race. Please, don't let him go. That's why I've been growing increasingly hesitant about calls for impeachment. Really? I know it sounds crazy. No, keep him in. Keep him in. Keep the kid sniffer in there. Folks, they're doubling down, by the way, because of this. The kid sniffer, they realize that their chances of winning the 2024 election are evaporating by the day. Now they've incorporated the bench, the judicial bench, into their election theft plans for the next election. They will stop at nothing to interfere in the next election. Did you see what happened yesterday with the disgraceful, I'm not hesitant to even call her a judge, Judge Chutkan in the D.C. case, the Jack Smith special tyrant case against Trump? Did you see what happened yesterday? The Trump team needs to push this thing off because he's got these criminal trials. They need to push it off and delay it so they can prepare. They just don't have the legal assets, by the way, which is their constitutional right to due process. They don't have the legal assets to handle 4 witch hunts at the same time. Judge Chutkan, who is a disgrace to humankind and an embarrassment to the judicial branch yesterday, said, no, we're going to hold this trial right before Super Tuesday. Folks, you think this is an accident? Judge Chutkan is not a judge. She is an activist and a disgraceful one at that. You think this timeline is a mistake? The Democrats will stop at nothing to steal the next election. Nothing. Here, look at his timeline. And by the way, this is from Axios, which is a far left-leaning site. First debate, August 23rd. October 2nd, Trump org civil lawsuit. January 15th, 2024 is the Iowa caucuses. Coming right up. Oh, look, that's the E. Jean Carroll civil defamation suit. Remember that clown show? So January 29th, pyramid scheme, class action suit. February 2020 is the election trial. Oh, look, March 5th is Super Tuesday. March 25th, New York State criminal hush money suit. May 20th, classified documents trial. July 15th is the Republican National Convention. Folks, this is all lined up perfectly to interfere in and steal the next election. And that's a fact. That's all they're doing. Judge Chutkan is a total fraud. Here, let me prove it to you. Here are 2 tweets yesterday from this guy, Ryan J. Riley, who apparently was in or around the courtroom and got some quotes from Chutkan. Here's what Chutkan said yesterday, the judge in the D.C. special counsel tyrant trial in D.C. Chutkan, an embarrassment to the bench, said, Mr. Trump will be treated with no more or less deference than any other defendant. So she's saying, Mr. Trump will be treated no differently, which is kind of funny, Judge, air quotes, Chutkan, because he is different. He was a former president of the United States with government-provided protection who had presidential privilege, which means he's different, Judge. You may want to read up on that whole Constitution thing. So first she says, we'll treat him no differently. Then she says a little later, because she's too dumb to remember what she said before, as I said, let's take the temperature down. Let's not overlook the fact that Mr. Trump has considerable resources. Discovery's not sitting in a warehouse with boxes of paper looking at every single page. Notice what she says here. She says, you following this, guys? She says, no. Donald Trump's team shouldn't get to delay the trial because Donald Trump is rich. So they don't need to look at every single page. So this absolute fraud of a human being, just to be clear, she says, let's not treat Trump any different. when it comes to the trial. But then she says, oh, but let's treat him different because he has money. So let's rush the trial and pretend he doesn't have the right to discovery like anyone else. The woman's a clown. She's an absolute clown and a total embarrassment. Now, I got a video coming up after this short break of, again, our new bronze medal winner in the Dopey Media Talking Head Olympics, Mehdi Hasan, absolute clown show, single dumbest guy in media, congratulating what he believes, again, despite the fact that he supports a fake civil rights activist stealing valor, Joe Biden, him attacking Donald Trump and congratulating Judge Chutkan and other because they're minority women tyrannically going after Trump. Again, Mehdi Hasan learned valuable lessons from COVID in this trial. That totalitarianism is a very good thing. That's what Mehdi Hasan is, a totalitarian. Believe me, just look him up. I'll get to that in a second. Last couple sponsors, appreciate your patience. MyPillow. You've supported MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with deals on his most popular product. You've heard me talk about the My Slippers, MyPillow 2.0, and more. Well, here's great news. The MyPillow 6-pack of bath towels are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet they still provide that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regularly priced $79.98 for a limited time. You can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code Dan. That's a 50% savings. Go to mypillow.com or call 800-637-4982 and use promo code Dan to save 50%. It's a great value on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. It's just $39.99 for a set. The deal won't last long. Enter promo code Dan for this special and many more. Thanks, MyPillow. Their products are great. Check out the My Slippers, too. They're fantastic. Our last sponsor today, Patriot Mobile. Every day we hear about these familiar brands selling out to the left, pouring money into these woke companies. Americans are getting sick and tired of it. Woke mobile companies, they're no different. For years, they've been dumping money into these liberal causes, and we had to take it because you need a cell phone. You thought there wasn't an alternative, but there is, and I'd like you to make the switch today. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They offer dependable, nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks, so you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to in your area, minus the leftist propaganda. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting a company that believes in free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, Second Amendment, our military veteran, and first responder heroes. They're 100% U.S.-based customer service team. They make switching easy. Keep your phone. Keep your number, too. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 878-PATRIOT. Get free activation today with the offer code Dan. Ask about their coverage guarantee while you're there. Get the same dependable service and take a stand for your values. Make that switch today. patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 878-PATRIOT. Thanks, Patriot Mobile. We appreciate it. Here he is, Mehdi Hasan again. Keep in mind, he's talking about Judge Chutkan. Judge Chutkan, who has unquestionably acted like a tyrant, has humiliated the bench, has incorporated the judicial branch into election interference again. Now every institution of significance is completely collapsed because these left-wing tyrants. And here's totalitarian Mehdi Hasan thanking them, these minority women, he goes, for attacking Donald Trump, again, while supporting a race-baiting, race-hustling, fake civil rights activist in Joe Biden. Check this out.
It's never not a good time to thank black women in America for their services to the Republic, for stepping up again and again to save American democracy through their sacrifices, their strength, their activism, their votes. But this month in particular, we should thank black women for doing what a bunch of white guys have failed to do for years. Hold Donald Trump, hold a former president accountable for his alleged criming. And the fact that they're the ones doing it must be killing Trump.
Actually, it's not killing Trump. He raised $7.1 million since the mugshot came out due to Fani Willis, who you claim this minority woman saving America while destroying America, while you support a fake civil rights activist who's lied about being a civil rights activist. And you were on the record calling people cattle and attacking gay men and women. I thought you were civil rights. Yeah. Okay, sure, Betty. We got it. Single dumbest guy in media. Folks, the case against the fake civil rights activist, kid-sniffing bribe taker in the White House. Women feel her, too. You ever see how he feels up women? It's disgusting. Yeah, it's gross. Or massaging them, touching them, grabbing them. Remember him grabbing Eva Longoria? What was he doing? Trying to goose her in the caboose or something? Sliding by. Oh, yeah, hands are sliding. Hands are sliding, Biden. That is absolutely, hands are sliding down. But guy's a slob because he's disgusting and he's gross. He's Reverend Kane. We're all gonna die from Poltergeist. That's who this slob is. He's a disgusting piece of garbage. He's also a bribe taker, too. Oh, look at this. Now we find out from Susan Ferriccio. Again, you can read this article in the newsletter today, that Biden had multiple aliases. Multiple aliases, really? He used Robert L. Peters. He's fascinated with Peters, by the way, which is kind of fascinating in itself. He also used the name Robin Ware. He probably was robbing a guy named Ware. It's probably a guy named Ware he stole money from. And J.R. Beware. Yes, beware of Joe Biden, especially if you're a woman. And be extra aware when you're near him and you can put your hand on the shoulders and start sniffing you too. Interesting that Biden still hasn't explained why he used the aliases. Let me tell you something from 12 plus years investigating criminals. If you're using a fake alias on the phone or in emails, and especially in a business transaction, an intentionally false alias, there's a reason. That's where the cookies are. No, not Oreos, not Chips Ahoy. I'm talking about the investigative footprints. I can almost guarantee you these emails are going to lay down footprints right back to the Biden crime family and how he was receiving benefits, either monetary benefits or benefits for his family, from selling access to his soul while he was a public official. That's where all of it's going to be. New York Post has an update on this too. Oh, check it out. The National Archives, by the way, that were playing along with the ridiculous attack on Trump for the Mar-a-Lago's documents fake scandal. The National Archives, this is stunning, fellas, has 5,400 Biden emails in which he used fake names to dish government information to Hunter. My gosh, it's almost like the government has a thick and growing case against Joe Biden, the kid-sniffing, bribe-taking women feeler. So strange. Now, let me ask you this, folks. If Joe Biden and his crew were doing nothing wrong, then wouldn't they just say that and answer the questions honestly? I mean, if I were to quiz Guy about his Dungeons and Dragons weekend and say, Guy, did you rob a bank this weekend on the air? Guy'd be perfectly happy to chalk up a mic right here and say, no, Dan, I was not involved in that bank robbery. I was busy playing Frodo in Dungeons and Dragons or whatever he was doing this weekend. And I finished 13th in my tournament. So Guy would have no problem. So why is it that when Peter Doocy pinned down, by the way, anybody changing their vote? Dumbest, single most incompetent. Sucks, still sucks. Thanks, Joe. Guy's not changing his vote either. Jim, changing his vote. If you want, Jim, you can text me if you're changing your vote. Nobody's changing their vote. Worst press secretary in the history of the United States. Why wouldn't Karine Jean-Pierre just answer the question and say, you know what, that's not true. This is all a conspiracy theory. Why does she just dodge the question every time? The answer is, Jim's not changing his vote. Either is Mike. Mike's not changing his vote. It's unanimous. Here's Peter Doocy on what exactly was the Biden brand they were selling. Watch Karine Jean-Pierre. I don't know what to say. Here, check this out.
Testimony since the last time that I was in here, Devin Archer talks about how he and Hunter Biden tried to profit off the Biden brand. What is the Biden brand?
I'm not going to get into it from here. I'm not going to get into it from here. We're going to move on.
Here is part 2 of that. Here's Peter Doocy asking about why is the Secret Service paying almost $20,000 a month when you complained about Secret Service protection for the Trump kids to secure this guy's Malibu home, Hunter Biden, when this guy's accused of federal crimes, by the way. Why are we doing that? And then she asks about his paintings. And why is it people are paying all this money for Hunter Biden's paintings, who conveniently, some of them got jobs, government jobs? Is there a connection? Again, Karine Jean-Pierre, if she had an answer, she would give it. She doesn't have an answer because she knows her boss is what? A kid-sniffing, bribe-taking woman feeler. That's why. And that's why you get answers like that. Check this out.
The Secret Service is paying $16,000 a month now to stage near Hunter Biden in Malibu. Who's paying for that?
That's a question for the Secret Service.
Okay. Hunter Biden is reportedly selling art to pay for his $15,800 a month rent in Malibu. How can you guarantee that people are not going to be buying this art to gain favor with the president?
That is a question for Hunter Biden and his representatives.
It's a
I know.
Of,
I hear.
I hear. At the White House, we know that one of the art buyers got a job from the Biden administration. Can you guarantee that there is no quid pro quo?
I hear your question. I'm not going to get involved in this. That is a question for Hunter Biden's representatives.
So, but we know that from a Hunter Biden associate now that he sold the appearance of access to then Vice President Biden. Are you confident that he has stopped doing that?
That is a question for Hunter Biden. And
if somebody is selling the appearance of access to the White House, that is a question for the White House.
No, that is your I don't know how you're perceiving that.
Sworn testimony by Devin Archer. He said,
I am just not, Peter, I'm just not going to get into this. I'm just not.
Of course she has no answer. And listen, I was watching the chat a little bit while I was playing. I've seen this cut already. And, you know, due respect, the lady in the chat, love you. You're happy to comment. I forget who it is, RMLS. She said, you know, Dan, you know, enough with the name calling. No, ma'am, or sir, I'm sorry. That's not this show, okay? I'm sick of these assholes. If the show's not for you, that's okay. Again, I'm 48, 49. I'm not changing anything. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass. And I'm going to tell you when an asshole is an asshole. If that's not for you, it's not for you. I understand. I love you. Thank you for being here. I mean it with respect. I understand you may have a different take on this. I'm not doing the cutesy time thing. If you're an a-hole, I'm going to call you one. And that's exactly what these people are. Nothing I've said is inaccurate. He is a kid-sniffing, bribe-taking woman feeler. Is any of that wrong? So is that name-calling or is it fact-calling? And the fact is, I don't even care if it's name-calling. I hate these people. I can't stand what they're doing to the country, to you, to civil liberties, to minorities, to white America, to Jewish America, to Christian America, to Islamic America, to Asian America. I can't stand what they're doing to union workers, non-union workers, immigrants versus non-immigrants. I hate what they're doing to this country. I'm going to call them what they are, a-holes, every single time. If it's not for you, I get it. I totally understand. But that's not this show, and I'm not changing anything. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass. I'm here to do the Dan Bongino show. I can't say that enough. I really, this is not some money-making enterprise. I'm glad it makes money, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here because I care about this country, and there's too much bullshit out there. There's too many people out there fence-sitting, cutesy time, kiss their asses. No, I need people to get angry so they can get angry and shuttle it into positive outcomes for the country, not into negative outcomes like the left does, like storming New York City and burning the place to the ground during the BLM riots. I need people to channel it into a political revolution for freedom. And I'm angry and they're angry. And anger can be a good thing if channeled into some positive causes. Sorry, I don't mean to get on a soapbox, but I read the chat and I appreciate a lot of your comments, but that's not this show. And it's never going to be for everyone. And believe me, that's okay. Here's why, folks. They're liars, too. The story about the Bidens has now incredibly changed again. First, the story was Biden had nothing to do with Hunter Biden. Then it was, well, he had no business dealings with Hunter Biden. Then it was, well, he may have talked to some of the business people, but it was about the weather. Then it was, okay, he may have talked to some of the business people and it wasn't about the weather, but at least there's no direct financial access to the Biden family. Now it's changed again. That, okay, there may be some financial arrangement with the Biden family, but there's not a single piece of, not a single dollar that may have went to Biden. I want you to watch Ro Khanna, who, by the way, is a hapless loser. I love when this guy pretends to be like a moderate. The guy, he was one of the guys who almost single-handedly took Parler off the mark. The guy's disgusting human garbage. Here he is changing the story again, suggesting that not a single payment you could show went to Biden. As if it goes to his family that then pays his bills, that's not a benefit. Here, listen to this.
The American people know the facts. Joe Biden, there's not a single shred of evidence that a single payment went to President Biden. And Donald Trump's post reveals everything. It's total politics. It's because he was impeached twice and he's running in 2024. They want to try to bloody up the president for 2024. This is all politics and has nothing to do either with the law or helping the American public.
You see how the story's changed again? They move the goalposts constantly. And then when payments to Biden through his son, when we prove that, you know what they're going to say? Well, it wasn't all the money. Only half of it went to Joe Biden. Proving my point. Folks, forget Ro Khanna. He is an absolute fraud. Remember him pretending to be this big free speech advocate with Twitter? Ro Khanna and AOC pushed to deplatform Parler. They did it publicly. This guy is a fraud. He is a total liar and a fake and a fraud. He's Joe Biden Jr. That's why he's defending him. The guy's a fake. There is nothing you can say to these people. Ignore them. Move ahead with the evidence and get impressionable voters to see the truth. The guy in the White House is a kid-sniffing, bribe-taking, woman-feeling loser. That is exactly who he is. And don't tell me it won't make a difference. Because 17% of Biden voters themselves said they would have voted differently if they would have known this stuff. So I don't want to hear how it's not going to make a difference. I'm not quitting, and you aren't either. I'm not going to let you. All right, just a little bit. Listen, I'm not from the South. I'm a New Yorker, okay? I'm a New Yorker. I moved to Maryland, and now I'm down here in Florida 8 years. But I need your advice in the chat. How long do you have to live in the South? And is Florida even considered the South? Because I'm in South Florida, which is, I'm not even sure that's considered the South. But how long do you have to live in the South before you're considered a Southerner? Is there a rule on that? Is it 10 years, 20 years? Is it a percentage of your life? I'm not sure. But either way, I'm not a Southerner. I'm not, although I love living in the South. Having said this, I'm asking for your permission. Can I use the term bless their hearts? I'm asking for a one-time dispensation here. Can I just use it, even though I'm not an official Southerner? Is that okay for you Southerners in there? Can I just use it now? Yeah, give me a yes. If it's a no, I'm going to have to just, can I say it? Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, it's a one-time thing. Thank you very much. One person said thank you. I got a few yeses in there. So I know you probably saw this again, but this is just glorious. This is what I mean by cutesy time is over. We need more of this. A bunch of environmental dipwads, so it'd be a good idea in the 100-degree desert to block the pathway to this Burning Man festival and sit in the middle of the road. I know you may have seen this, but it's worth playing again. This is when you say to these environmental protesters, bless their hearts. Check this out.
Get out now! Get out! On the ground! All of you on the ground now! Get on the ground!
We're not violent!
Get on the ground!
We're not
Don't
violent!
move!
Please!
Molly, give me your last name and date. So who's threatening to get the gun? No one has a gun. No one has a gun.
We have no weapons at all!
Officer, will you tell me where you're
We're environmental protesters!
Environmental protesters. There's no weapons at all. Sorry for the nibbling. That's the greatest video ever. By the way, to those guys, if you're ever in and around the Florida area, reach out to my producers, those Rangers. Stop by the studio. We'd love to have you for one of our live studio shows. You guys are national heroes. I'm so tired of these idiots. That is probably the greatest video. I can't see it enough. I've seriously seen it about 100 times on cable news. I was going to play it yesterday, but I ran out of time. Environmental protesters. You know, the crazy thing about it is these Rangers probably saved their lives. Why did they save their lives? They saved their lives because it's 100 degrees, right? These environmental protesters, if they would have sat out there in the middle of the heat, what is that? What is that, Joe's phone? In the middle of the heat, they probably would have died. So they probably saved their lives. Oh, sorry, one of my favorite videos. Guy, for our end of the year thing, you know, we're putting together like some of the best stuff. That's got to go in there. That's got to go in there as best law enforcement video. We'll do categories, right? Best political video. Yeah, Joe like forgot to turn. I'm like, what's that sound? Why is it? I knew it wasn't like my doorbell or anything. All right. I want to play this. This has been getting a lot of attention. Listen, I'm obviously, I support Trump for this election cycle. But having said that, again, I really love Ron DeSantis. He's a great leader, especially for the state in the storm crisis. And God bless everyone in Florida with Hurricane Idalia. A couple people in the chat asked me if it was coming to my area. Here's the short answer. You never can tell. Florida, you've obviously got the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. I'm on the East Coast. I mean, the East Coast, like on the water East Coast. Like you can look out the window East Coast, okay? Here's the thing. It really doesn't matter. You're never really in the clear because a lot of these Gulf Coast storms, what they do, and I think it was Francis did this in 95 or something, they'll hit the Gulf Coast, cross across Florida, and then button hook around again. So no, I'm not in the direct line of fire now, but one of the models, the AV something, has it coming our way. You know, you never know in Florida. Bottom line is, God bless everyone on the Gulf Coast. DeSantis doing a great job. He's a great governor. And like I said, I'm not going to fall into this trap where anyone's going to tell me, oh, you support Trump, you got to hate DeSantis. I'm not doing that. And no one's going to tell me to do that. And if you're going to tell me to do that, then you can plant a wet one on my ass, okay? I'm allowed to have two simultaneous thoughts at the same time because that's how adults think. And these people right now need a good governor and solid leadership. And so far, he's been doing the right thing. So God bless everyone on the Gulf Coast. Tampa Bay could be in for rough condition. Having said that, Vivek Ramaswamy nationally is moving up in the polls. A couple of polls have him in number 2, the number 2 position right now. I've seen some of them in number 3, some number 4, depending on the states. The state polls really matter. But Vivek's had good and bad moments over the last few days. There's been some, waffling on some foreign policy issues. But this was a good one. This is an example of if you ever run for office. He's getting pretty good at this stuff. This is an example with Chuck Todd on Meet the Press of how to never accept the premise of a loaded question. Chuck Todd here, you're going to see him pull off this lefty trick where he's not asking a question, he's making a statement. Chuck Todd, what he's saying here, he's not asking, he's saying, is why are you conservatives so obsessed with violence? While the BLM and Antifa movement are left-wing lunatic stuff, which is amazing. Violence is almost exclusively a left-wing thing, right? Vivek doesn't accept the premise of the question at all. And then he moves on to the manifesto thing about this recent tragic shooting in Florida. Meanwhile, we still haven't seen the manifesto from the trans shooter in Nashville. So this is a really good job on how to do this. Don't ever accept the premise of a loaded question. Check this out.
I think there are more race-based violent crimes on the right than on the left. Why is this a lot more pervasive on the right?
Well, the fact of the matter is, I think that there's a lot more violence that's also pervasive in parts of the country that supposedly are left-wing voter bases. So I don't think this is a left versus right issue, and I don't think we should try to politicize this through partisan goggles either, Chuck, especially in the wake of a tragedy like this one. The fact is there are more black men dying on the south side of Chicago.
Do you ignore the elements that allowed this manifesto to spread online, and that what we're, it does feel as if social media connects some of these hateful ideologies.
Well, the fact of the matter is I do think we have two standards that we're even applying if we're having a conversation about manifestos. We still have not yet even seen the manifesto of that transgender shooter in Nashville of a Christian school, and yet here we're focusing on the motive. So if we want to look at this through a politicized lens, let's look at what the political media and the political establishment is doing differentially in how they analyze different crimes and then create a new narrative around it.
I read the chat. A lot of feelings about Vivek. Good, bad, indifferent. That's good. That's good. We should have a conversation. These candidates need to be vetted. When they do something good, we should talk about it. When they do something bad or they have something exposed about them that's bad, we should talk about that too. Put that in the chat. I read everything. But I just want to let you know that that's a really good example of how not to accept the premise of a loaded question. Just don't do it. By the way, just one other quick story here about Vivek's campaign. Eminem sent Vivek Ramaswamy a cease and desist. Remember when Vivek rapped one of his songs? Here's just a note on Eminem. Eminem's a chump. He's a loser. He's a fake tough guy. He's been playing up this, I'm from a tough town bullshit for a long time. The guy's a dipshit. I really don't need Eminem kind of injecting himself into it. The guy rapped your song, dude, at an Iowa thing. Get over yourself. And let me tell you something. In case you've probably missed the subtle undertones of the last couple weeks, I'm pretty much kind of done with a lot, not all. I mean, I love John Rich and others, but a lot of these songwriter people with their inflated sense of self-importance. Let me just say this whole attitude with songwriters, if you know what I mean, some of you picking up what I'm putting down, you put in the chat if you know what I mean here. My music is special. It's for me and my approved customers only. I say to them, go F yourself then. Donate all the money from people who bought your music that you don't like to charity and sing for yourself in a room and shut up then, okay? Because if you're going to perform music for people, but then you don't like the people that buy your music and talk about your songs, then maybe you should just shut the fuck up, okay? How does that sound? And maybe not sing. I don't understand. Like, then just sing for yourself and just donate the money. So I want to make a career out of singing music for people like Eminem and others, if you know what I mean. And then I want to bitch and moan when others spread my music around. Just shut up then and don't sing. Am I wrong? Anybody in the chat kind of missing where I'm going with this? Just shut up and don't sing. Just shut your mouth then. I want to spread music to the people. Okay, the people love your music. No, I don't like those people. And I don't like people spreading my music. I'm tired of these idiots, these self-important losers. So tired of them. By the way, one quick thing. You're going to see a bunch of storm hysteria now again in the next few days after Idalia hits. Climate change. Here, let's pre-bunk that right now. Wall Street Journal. There is no strong evidence of a century-scale increasing trends in U.S. landfall hurricanes or major hurricanes. You know where that's from? The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, a government website. So let's just pre-bunk that right now. I'll get to more of this tomorrow. I'm kind of running out of time. I'm going to do the radio show in a few minutes. Folks, love to have you here. Join us every single day. Rumble.com/Bongino. Download the Rumble app if you wouldn't mind. Open an account. Join us in the chat. I've been getting there early every day. I'll try to pick a few questions and answer them. I love chatting with you all. What do we have? 77,000 people here today on a Tuesday. It's just magic, man. I love talking to you all. I go live at 11 a.m. every day. If we do any time change in the future, I will let you know way in advance. Don't worry about that. I will see you back here, rumble.com/Bongino, tomorrow at 11 a.m.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets. Get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple-digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone. Also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?